In this exercise, we will see how a form works. We can think of the internet as a network of computers which send and receive information. Computers need an HTTP request to know how to communicate. The HTTP request instructs the receiving computer how to handle the incoming information. More information can be found in our article about HTTP requests. So I will leave you the link for this HTTP requests page. So if you are interested in exploring more about HTTP requests, you can go there and see more info. Okay, the form element is a great tool for collecting information, but then we need to send that information somewhere else for processing. We need to supply the form element with both the location of where the form's information goes and what HTTP requests to make. Take a look at the sample form below. And here is our sample form. In the above example, we have created the skeleton for a form that will send information to example.html as a post request. The action attribute, right here, determines where the information is sent. So the action attribute is responsible for determining where the information should go. In this case, it is the example.html page. And the method attribute is assigned a HTTP verb that is included in the HTTP request. And we have the method attribute with the value of post. We have different values, but in this example it is a post value. So the method attribute is assigned a HTTP verb, so a post verb, that is included in the HTTP request. Note, HTTP verbs like post do not need to be capitalized for the request to work, but it is done so out of conventions. So you can use the lowercase letters here, but for the sake of conventions, it is better to use the capitalized letters. Okay, in the example above, we could have written method post with the lowercase and it would still work. Okay, let's see. The form element can also contain child elements. For instance, it would be helpful to provide a header so that users know what this form is about. We could also add a paragraph to provide even more detail. Let's see an example of this in code. And here is our example right here. The example above doesn't collect any user input, but we will do that in the next exercise. Okay. For now, let's practice making the foundation of an HTML form. Okay, let's see the instructions for this exercise. In the section element, so this is our section element, add a form element under the provided comment and assign the form with an action attribute with a value of / practice.html and a method attribute with a value of post. So just like in our example above, we need a form element with the action attribute set to / practice.html, and we need another attribute, method attribute, with the post value inside. Like we said, you can type the lowercase like this, but for the sake of conventions, let's use the capitalized letters. Okay, let's click run. Right now we have a blank form on a burger site. Let's add some context. add an h1 inside the form element with text related to the site between the opening and closing h1 tags. Okay, let's add h1 element inside the form element. Inside the form element with text related to the site between the opening and closing h1 tags. So let's add some content right here. Let's add Davis burgers. Okay, let's click run. Okay, let's see the last task in this exercise. Add some details to the form by inserting a p element below the h1 element. So below the h1 element, let's create the p element and write a relevant description within the p element. So let's add some relevant description for this p element. Let's type best burgers in town, exclamation point. Okay, run. And that should be all for this exercise. We created the form element with the action attribute and the method attribute, and then we added the h1 element and p element inside of that form element. Okay, let's proceed to the next exercise.